G'day everybody, welcome back again to Andrew's Arts and Models. I have something a little bit different for you today. Normally, as most of you know, I do kit reviews, things like that, and various Bandai kits and other ERTL and AMT models and whatever takes my fancy. I thought I would show you something a little bit different. So here we have the Star Wars Star Destroyer released by AMT many years ago now. It is an old kit. I believe it came out in the 80s. It's not very good. And if you can have a look at the box there, that's pretty much the detail you get in the kit. And we'll just zoom this in a little bit for you. And you can see even on their box art, typical of the most AMT stuff, they've even got fit issues on their display model that they used for the photo of the kit. Radomes, or the radomes, sorry, these shield generators on the top are pretty poor. It just goes on and on and on. So there's a list of things I could go on about with this vehicle. Safe to say, it's not a great kit. Hopefully soon, though, if I understand correctly, we will have some other options available, which would be nice. We've already got the little Bandai one, which is a great little kit. I love it. A lot of fun to put together, and much more accurate than this is. So, why am I showing it to you? Well, this is a kit which I actually started well before my YouTube channel, and I started a rebuild of it. Now, basically, the rebuild that I've done on this kit, I have not done to really increase the accuracy all that much of it, but just to increase the look of it, make it look a lot nicer. And I've got a little example here of what I'm talking about. So this is a section of the model which you get with the kit. Now, this is the part just up here. So, I don't know, suppose you'd call it the top deck. This gives you an idea of the detail you get with this kit. So, it's all raised detail pretty much. And you can see on there, it's pretty poor. It's not really all that good. Some of the raised portions aren't too bad, but a lot of these little squares and things are all sunk into the plastic, so they're not formed properly. You can see the little crosswork pattern you get on it, and that's really over the entire model. Once again, it's raised and it's really not all that great. It's not accurate. It's really, overall shape isn't too bad, but the details and things really let this kit down. It's not so good. So, what am I doing to it? Well, as I said, I've been rebuilding it, and I've been rebuilding it for some time now. So it's been a project which is going on for some time, or a number of years. I'm going to release it to you in stages. So I'll show you bits and pieces. So this will be part one. But just be aware that I have been working on this for some time, and I will be continuing to work on this for some time. So you're not going to see a completed model in the next couple of weeks. But that just gives you an idea of what I was working with. Now I'm going to start with one of the hull sections, just to show you what I've been up to. All right, there we go. So that's the first hull section, the lower hull, which I have pretty much rebuilt. Basically, I did a number of things on this, and some I'll demo in a later video. Sanded down. Firstly, started off with sanding down all the raised details. Just got rid of them. Not worth really keeping much of it. It was all pretty poor, so yep, it's gone. It's in the bin, so to speak. The only part I kept was on the little dish here. If you give a closer look at that there, you can see it there reflecting in the light. So that's the only part I really kept there. I didn't really fancy rescribing that object, and I thought, well, the detail on there actually will suffice, so we'll leave it at that. These grey sections, dark grey sections, so this is where the stand goes. There's 3 points on the stand that they give you, 1, 2, and 3. And I basically just filled those in, 1, 2, and 3. I just filled those in with putty, and gave them a backing. So you can have a look on the back side there. Gave them a backing with just some offcuts of Plasticard that I had, and put that in holes just to make it a bit easier to fill it. Tamiya Putty is what I used. Now, Tamiya Putty sometimes for me seems to shrink, so that's why I just sort of blocked out the holes just to cut that down to a minimum possible. Right, so sanded down all the detail. You might see some red ink on this still from when I re-scribed it, and we'll go through that in a minute. So basically, as I said, I wasn't after a studio model. I just wasn't going to be able to achieve it with this kit, and came to that realization pretty early on. So what I wanted to do is just beef it up, make it look a lot more interesting than what it was in the box, and have a nice display piece. So, sanded off the details, as we've already said. I then went about thinking, well, how would you make one of these? If you were a shipyard and you were building a ship, or say you're a modern shipyard and you're building a naval vessel, how would you do it? Well, most things these days are built to sequence or modular. So they build them in sections and they assemble the sections. I thought, well, why can't a Star Destroyer be the same thing? All right, so if you have a look on all the recessed details, all the rescribing I did on the surface with my rescribing tool, almost all of it, there are some exceptions, but almost all of it is duplicated on the opposite side. So if I've got a square here, for example, I'll have a square there. If I've got, what else we got? If I've got, an unusual angled section there, you can see it, then I'll have one on the same side, right there. Now, the only exceptions to these really are these raised portions of the kit. So you make some allowance for those when you're doing it. But generally speaking, it is symmetrical, either side. Not hard to do at all. It really isn't hard to do at all. A little ruler and a little bit of ink, and away you go. Now, to rescribe it, I did buy a purpose-built scribing tool. I did use a number of other tools, though, to rescribe it, and I'll just show you some of those now. So, with my scribing tool, basically, I get a hard piece of Plasticard or an old credit card or something like that, and lay it on the surface so I've got a nice, straight, even edge, and then I'll draw my line, draw the scribing tool up along that line, and keep doing it until it sort of makes a recess. Now, you find the plastic, say just for example, this is the line I've just etched into the side of my model. You'll find the plastic that you've scooped out of here, well, actually, a lot of it will come out, but some of it will go over the edges and give you raised edges. So one little tip for those that might want to do this, and as I said, I will do a demo on it, but I'll just give you a quick rundown on it now, is your scalpels, different fittings, all right, different blade heads. So you've got like a chisel bit, and we've got a rounded bit as well. Now, this is really, really helpful. To avoid having all those little raised areas around it, basically I put it in my little holder, my scalpel holder, and then I would run it just like that along the edges very gently, and it would lift up all the excess plastic, and it actually gave me a really nice smooth finish. You can see, and I'll just zoom in, sorry, I'm working the camera at the same time, so you can see there how crisp those lines are, and that's basically just from the scribing tool and then running that little piece over the top of it. Now, the chisel bit on some pieces I did the same thing, and with a normal angled piece like that, I used the back side of that to clear out any excess plastic that lays in the channel. So you get some debris, things which fills up the channels. Just run that back side of that. You don't have to put much pressure on it. You're just trying to gouge out what's left. Now, inaccuracies with this piece. Well, basically, most of the surface detail is pointless. Just get rid of it and start again if you've got the time and the patience. The wedge shape is also really quite shallow. It's not quite deep enough for to replicate the studio models. One big thing with this kit, and you probably won't notice it now, but if you get a ruler out, you'll notice it, is the hanger bay on all these kits is off center. So none of them are centered correctly. It's always off to one side, and I cheated a little bit by, when I was adding all the detail around there, by just sort of correcting it and laying it over a little bit. I didn't want to cut it out and then reposition it and then go through the problem of getting it back into place, it just wasn't worth it. So once I'd rescribed it, I put all the details on my Plasticard. Now, I used a few references from a few the bigger resin kits, things like that. I think, memory says Randy Cooper has a big resin kit available. Could be wrong, I'm pretty certain it's his name. Has a big resin kit available, and I use that basically just as a visual reference to get a few details off along the center section here, along the edges there. He also has a big strip that sort of runs down here towards the end, which I didn't bother putting on. I thought, tried it, and I just didn't like the look of it. I thought, no, it just makes it look too busy, so left it at that. And these little sections here are on the studio model as well, so I basically just replicated those with Plasticard. It's not hard at all, guys and girls. It really isn't. It's just time consuming. So if you have a look on the sides, and we'll just zoom that in. Right, so you have a look at the sides there, all those little bits of Plasticard, which I've put in there just to beef up the edge of the model a little bit. And then of course eventually we'll have the trench running alongside there, and I'll do the similar thing to that, I think. There are some aftermarket pieces available for it. I really didn't want to spend a heck of a lot of money on it. It's not a great kit. The only concession I made to aftermarket was with the shield generators. I found a guy in the UK who was selling a resin set, which was quite nice. Alternatively, you can go to like an arts and crafts store and get some beads which are similar to what they look like if you don't want to spend that money. But I think it was only 10 Australian dollars, something like that. It was pretty cheap to have them shipped as well. So I thought, well, yep, that's worth it. I'm not going to scratch build those. I'll go insane. So that's the bottom section. Now I'll be doling this out to you over the next couple of weeks and just showing you the bits and pieces that I've done. Any questions about what I've used, how I've done it, please let me know. I want to include some demos in this as well. Just some quick demos, but this is sort of really just a teaser for you to let you know what's coming. I hope you like it. Drop us a line. Let me know what you think about it. Am I on the right path? Am I on the wrong path? I think it's coming up pretty well. I actually can't wait to paint it. I really want to see how the recessed panel lines come out, everything like that. I'm really happy with it. I think it's looking really good. I didn't want to get too busy with the panel lines, and I really made, just so you know, I didn't want to get too busy, and I really just made them up as I went, just for a bit of fun. I thought, well, it's not going to be overly accurate anyway. And you can see there, little inside tip, you can see there I got a little bit heavy-handed with the scribing tool there, but that happens. No one's perfect. Well, I'm pretty close to perfect, but no one's perfect. So as I said, I'll be doling this out to you. Let me know if you've got any questions or anything you want to know. Next section will come up in another week or so, and I hope you like it. Please check the site for our subscriber giveaway. So we've got our subscriber giveaway. We're about 120 odd subscribers away from our first model kit giveaway. So check that video out. I'll put a link below. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll hear from me again soon. Cheers, everybody.